Hello and welcome to Nanapod, a podcast dedicated to the fantastic manga written by A. Yazawa. I'm Crystal, and I'm joined by my best girl Kirsten as we dissect this manga, discussing everything from the emotions, the cultural impact, as well as any headcanons that might be floating around in our brains. With this podcast, we hope to preserve a shoujo staple that sadly hasn't been talked about in a very long time. So come with us. We're waiting for you in apartment 707. Let's see.
Are we in chapter 38? 38.
Yes. Chapter 38. I also met a potential new friend person who I'm going to convince to read Nana.
Oh.
Yeah, because she was all like, she's a tattoo artist. She's really sweet, and she really likes to do anime like tattoos. That's like her passion project. Is she's like, I just think we should have more of that in the world. I'm like, that's super great. She also like loves Howl's Moving Castle, and we all like went to her shop with a whole bunch of other people, and we all watched it together. It was super cool.
That.
And yeah, it was great, And then she was like she had like this little tiny shelf of like manga and stuff, and she's just like, I have all these over here, and I really would love to collect more. And she lent me like one of her series. It's called Marmalade Boy. It's super cute.
Marmalade Boy.
Yeah, I never read it before. So I was like, this is fun. So I'm like, I have an extra copy of the first book of Nana, so I'm probably gonna give it to her and be like, you should just come this way.
Here. It's nice. It's lovely. You're gonna cry.
You're right. I'm so sorry, but come be our
But
friend. Yeah. And also, she did talk about it too, because I said, "Did you watch Nana?" She said, "I did," and because she was talking about like having more like movie nights at the shop, and I'm like, "Should I bring Nana?" She's like, "Oh, yes, yes, we should do that and have like a paint, like we should all like sip and paint and watch Nana." And I'm like, "Yes, let's do it."
Oh. Coughed. But yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
I think I might end up signing up and paying for the like Shoujo Beat membership.
Oh.
I don't have time right now. I'm so behind on my school reading.
Hmm.
I'm like, but I wanna reread the things, and I I don't like spending an exceptional amount of time looking for scans all the time because it's not as easy as it used to be to find them.
Fair.
But is Craig on?
Yeah.
Oh, he is. Hi, Craig. Welcome. This is Nanopod. We are gonna talk about Nanopod and not other things that are happening in the world right now because they're horrible.
Hmm. It's a lot.
My brain is really scrambly.
Hmm.
Scramble egg brain.
Scramble egg drop soup brain.
Coffee brain. Okay, it's shake, shake, shake.
Shake, 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 shake your
Shake, shake.
brains.
Yeah. But anyway, we're on chapter 38, and there's some fishes.
There's some fishies.
We have an introduction to Miu. Um, oh, it's not an actual introduction. They just have a little cute little picture of her. Our two mains of the chapter are Nobu and Miu,
Mm-hmm.
which I like. I do. Do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
You can start with the cute little beta fishies.
Yeah, they're two little beta fishes because Miu has a fish tank.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it says, if I were to die now, I don't think Ren would die with me anymore. But that's good. That's how it has to be. It's pretty funny that I find it so sad. I seriously have problems. And then
Mm.
it's a colored picture of Trap Nest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's they're casually like sitting in a park. It's not like done up. It's really cute. It looks very
Mm-hmm.
natural.
Yeah.
And then there's a knock knock on the door. Are you sure we didn't read this one or did I just read this one already?
I think you probably just read it because,
Oh, reread it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I did reread it because I really like her room stuff. Um so there's a little fish and there's knock knock on the door and it's Miyu and she's feeding her fish and then it's Nobu and he says, excuse me, but I'm from next door and then she turns around and looks, she's so cute. And then he looks shocked and he's like, she's from next door? He thinks to himself. And then he's like, do you have a plastic or paper bag? Don't give
Don't give her plastic.
um and then he's like, and then she says back, you guys don't have one? And he's thinking to himself, like, angrily, that's why I'm asking you. And so then she, like, walks over near the fish tank because there's, like, dresser drawers.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, a paper bag will be best. If you use a plastic bag improperly, you'll be even, it'll be even more painful to breathe. And then he's like, really? Wait, how do I use it? And then she's like, dot to dot, like, looks kind of like confused. And Nobu's freaking out. And he's like, this is the first time something like this has happened. You seem to know how it's done. It's okay for an amateur like me to help her. He's like, yes. Or she says yes, or he says yes. So she says yes. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, I've always done it by myself. And now he looks like concerned. Lay her down on her back and put the bag over her mouth and nose. Open a small crack. And then Thoughtbox says, although it hurts as though you're going to die, you'll never die. And it says, just let her breathe slowly like this and she'll feel better. And then in the little thought line says, a living hell, question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Nobu says, thanks, I'll give it a try. And then she says, it's not hard. It'll be all right, so don't worry. There seems to be a very level-headed person by her side. And Nobu looks and says, level-headed? She's like, I'm jealous of her. And said something rude. I'm sorry. Miu.
Mm.
I want a Miu doll. I'm gonna make a Miu doll.
Make a Miyu doll.
She's so cute.
She's so
Um,
cute.
she's so cute. And so now Nobu is just this thud. His eyes are all empty, like, because he looks like concerned.
Yeah.
There's thought box that says, just like being pulled up from deep within the ocean. I'm finally getting my breath back. And it's Nana, and she's crying into Yasu's shoulder. Because he's the level-headed one, Nobu, not you.
Yes. I like how she called him level-headed in yours, because in mine she called him a tranquilizer.
Oh my god. What?
Yeah. She said, she's like, she's got that guy who's like a tranquilizer, and Nobu's like,
Oh my
tranquilizer.
god. Well, he is kind of like a Nana tranquilizer.
That's true.
Like, you know? I guess
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just a weird
Um,
thing to call somebody.
yeah, I mean, here, I'm a shot.
Right? I don't like hypodermics. Why would you say that?
Chex makes oh gosh. Like Repo the Genetic Opera. Like
Yes, yes.
it's actually
Speaking of,
just like it's actually just like little Yasu faces instead of like the blue liquid.
oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, Zydrate. It's the Zydrate, which is funny because Paris Hilton is in that
Is that
movie.
what it
So
is? Hydrate. Yeah, hydrate. Oh, that is yay, full circle.
yeah.
No, that scene is now. It's really funny because that scene it was up until like a few weeks ago trending again on TikTok, right? And
Oh,
like
serious.
yeah, no, and like what's wild to me though is like early TikTok, like 2017, 2018 TikTok.
Hmm.
There were really only two sides to TikTok, right?
Hmm.
There were cosplayers with OCs, original characters, and then there were like, what everybody thought TikTok was. And
Right.
so like Repo the Genetic Opera was actually a big deal, like sound
Mm.
in the side of TikTok that I was on. Like when it was only pretty much two sides. Like and then there was like funny people, right? But like it wasn't what it is now.
Right.
because it was Musically. It was people from Musically, like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like it was a big deal then. So like it's funny to see it pop up again because I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
this feels like, pre-COVID days.
Yeah. Which it would it's funny to me because if I heard it, I'd be like, "Oh, that's like pre everything. That's like 2010."
Well, yeah, but I mean like on TikTok specifically.
Right, right. Do you guys know about
Like,
this musical? Yes, we love it.
yes, yes, we love it. We were, yeah, like we're good. No, I was actually like that was part of the reason why I like kind of stuck around on TikTok like at that point. Like I
Mhm.
just watched TikToks because I was like, "Oh my God, like these people are great." And like they're coming up with like original characters that go along with like these story arcs and these like, you know what I mean, like fandoms and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that was fun. Um and like then going into like 2019 is when we started to get more quirky stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um and like more narratives and but it was like I don't know, it just felt so different than it did
Mhm.
like I feel like TikTok has already had so many eras and
Yeah.
like so many eras, right? Um
Mhm.
and like that's why like a couple years ago I started describing TikTok like a mall. And like the different sides of TikTok are actually different stores which go along with like different fashions.
That's fair. There are some stores I'm like, I'm not going in there.
That's
Mm-mm.
why it's like no, but that's why it's like a mall. You just walk by some, like you scroll by some, and then others it's like, "Oh, I love this. Like I'll go in here or this is where I hang out." Or I'm going to go over here to see like a friend. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's very much like early 2000s mall
Right.
when
Such a
you
good time.
right? When mall rats still existed. Like I think that was the last era of mall rats. Right?
So it was like a whole ass tangent, but yeah, yeah, apparently.
Nope,
Apparently.
it's good. Allegedly. You're a mall
Allegedly,
goth.
yeah.
I didn't know you were a mall goth.
Yeah?
Um,
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize that. I thought that it was just like in the trad goth realm, which I'm pretty sure that mall goth is in the trad goth realm. Because like that's
Yeah.
where we would find things.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand. I gotta look this up.
I probably was like a trad goth, like honestly, but I'm like, it's like, what do people want from me? I was being raised in an evangelical school. I really was into dark and spooky shit, and you get it. You're like, well, let me try to find, and this is my only outlet.
So I just Googled mall goth. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm seeing like scene, and I'm
Yep.
seeing trad goth.
Right.
Like that's like I'm seeing those two things. Like trap pants, sure, that's a little more industrial goth. Um,
I have those.
right, but that's a little more industrial goth, right? Like we
Yes,
know that. We know that.
we do.
Um, like I was never really into industrial, so like that wasn't like an aesthetic that I leaned towards. Like dark ambient, like you know what I mean, like whatever. I don't even describe myself as gothic, but other people do. Um,
It's the only like they're like describe Kirsten, and I'm like, oh, let me use terms you understand.
right, like even at work, like I still get the constant jokes, like Wednesday Adams, yada yada, and it's like, sure.
Yeah.
Um, the only people who ever like really described me as not being gothic was at the bookstore, and that's because like they all just described me as being postmodern,
Oh, well, there you go.
which I'm like, I'm actually more okay with that. You know what I mean? Than I don't know. I don't really like I don't know. I've never like I guess really like flushed out like the specific aesthetic, right?
Yeah, but and mine changes because it's like some days I want to be, spooky Morticia Adams, and other days I'm like, I'm a fairy. So,
Right. Yeah. Like I just get dressed.
right?
My clothes are black. Good day.
Right.
I would say like I'm more like leaning towards a corporate goth with torn tights than other, avenues.
Hmm.
Um, but like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And I listen to like, I don't even really listen to music anymore.
Right. I know we talked about that, which I'm always like, Kirsten comes over. You should just be like, this is the thing I'm listening to, and then my brain can go, oh, that's what not music is. Okay.
Right. I listen to like, I still listen to a lot of ambient music. Like, let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
And I found like over the years, listening to ambient music is easier for me because if I listen to music with lyrics, I've got to figure out the lyrics, and then I end up like focusing on those words.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get upset because they're not really telling a story. So then I listen to audiobooks with ambient music playing.
Ooh, there's a
Right?
way.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a way. And like another reason I stopped listening to music though was because when I was working in an office, I was listening to music a lot. Also, I didn't really like the music that my office mate listened to, so there's that part. So I convinced her to listen to podcasts. Um,
Mm.
and I wanted to listen to podcasts though because I wasn't learning anything
Mm-hmm.
new. I didn't have
Right.
time to read
Right. Like, I gotta
because I
feed
was
my
working so
brain.
much. Right. I was working so much that I wasn't like, and I have to like one of my things like, and we know this about me. I have to always be like taking in information.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not like taking in, I don't know what to do with myself.
Yes.
Like I disassociate.
Yeah, that's
So,
fair.
I listen to podcasts and audiobooks,
Yeah.
and sometimes I listen to music because I'll like hear like a TikTok sound. I'm like, oh, I missed that song. I'll listen to that song. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I don't drive. And I think that's a big part of it. I've noticed that people who drive
Mm-hmm.
listen to a lot of music.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to audiobooks, but yes.
See? But like but like I've noticed though that like, you know, also I find it really interesting because Finn has been able to carve out like his own like musical interest, not
Mm-hmm.
influenced by Nathan or I because we don't drive.
Mm. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
He's not listening to our music in the car and growing up listening to what we listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Now carved out his own like musical interests, which
Actually,
is
that's
really
yeah, that's nice. I mean, actually, that does cultivate an own identity. Although no, I never don't think I. Oh, probably did identify like because my mom and dad listened to like stuff that was being played from the 50s.
right. Yeah,
Um.
it still influences you. And like sure, we gave Finn like things that we thought he like Nathan introduced Finn to nerdcore, right? And Finn when he was younger loved nerdcore. He loved nerdcore so much. Like, you know what I mean? Um or like, stuff like that, but like not it wasn't excessive because
Mm-hmm.
we weren't in a car all the time.
Right.
We were walking to the bus and talking and like looking around and doing that type of thing. And I found that like, people their musical interests are heavily like influenced by their parents, and that's usually from being in a car.
Yeah, that is actually true. Like Nate loves the music that like his dad like introduced him to. What I mean, what little his mom would let him play in the
Right.
house
Yeah.
because which is
Right. Yeah.
it's so funny because I'm just like it's just the Doors, mom. Like, calm down.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Nope, it's the devil's music.
Seville's music.
The
Him and his
devil's
leather
music.
pants.
It's
Jim
the
Morrison.
demon lord.
It's the demon.
The demon lord incarnate.
Demon Lord is good. So there.
So there, take that. I love it. Okay.
It's
Okay.
great.
So Nana is crying on Yasu's shoulder and says Yasu's chest smells sweetly of black stones. Yeah, he smells like those clove cigarettes. Okay. We
Mm-hmm.
know. We know. We
Cheesy
and
smells really good.
I know. I smoked cloves for a minute, but and then I found out they make your lungs bleed, so that kind of stopped. That goes into the goth discussion too. I smoked clove cigarettes for a minute.
Right? I still
Um
do on occasion smoke clove cigarettes
Occasion
because
is one thing. I smoked them regularly.
right, religiously.
And then I learned that they make your lungs bleed.
They do. Yep.
So that stopped.
Yeah, I remember my friend Albie telling me that because he smelled like Yasu. He smelled like Yasu,
Ugh,
and yeah, and I
stink.
was, yeah, and I was like, and he's like, but don't smoke these, girl. Like these make your lungs bleed. I'm like, then why
They
do
make
you
your lungs.
smoke them? He's like, they're delicious.
They're delicious. That's why.
That's why.
They're absolutely delicious. It says I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I believe that's what Yasu says. It's not in like a bubble, so
No, that's I
um,
was wondering about that too. I'm like, is he saying that like out loud?
I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know,
know.
but we have a scene change with a little V-Dub bus. that goes vroom.
Yeah, there's a V-dub bus. It goes vroom, and there's a screech, and then there's keys as it goes into the lock. It goes flip, and a yank of the door, and bang, and it's oh god, this guy's name every time.
Every
Get,
time.
get uh, Genpai. Yeah,
Genpai? Genpai.
yeah,
Genpai.
Genpai,
Genpai.
Genpai, and he's like mad concerned, and he goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's like, he's part of their crew now, and the security guy behind the desk just like looks up at him and just kind of like, what the heck? And
Genpai.
he's yeah, Genpai.
Jin. I think it's Jin.
It's Jin. Yeah, he's like,
It's Jin.
oh, Jin, good evening to you, and he's shouting. He's like, where's Nana? And the other guy says, room 626. He's like, how is she? Did you call a doctor, Azuma? And Azuma says, calm down, it's probably just hyperventilation. The same thing as Mayu. And Jin looks back and he looks very worried. Like, that's not a little thing, dude. It's kind of a big thing.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
get this really interesting, like, juxtaposing shot of, like, Nana laying on her back and Yasu's helping her breathe through a paper bag. And, like, underneath her, almost like underwater, it looks like she's underwater because it's her
Yeah, it's
fish
meant to be
tank.
like it's meant to be your fish tank.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's
And
like through the fish tank that we're seeing it.
yeah, and it's like Mayu. So it's just like it's like that whole drowning, right? It's like the whole it's a thing. It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Um and then Jin is like, that's horrible. And then there's like the thinking things and it says Yamagishi didn't call an ambulance, he called the agency. And I was taken to a doctor they knew. Genpai, who rushed back to the apartment, drove me there. By the time we got to the hotel, which was closed already, I was fine as usual, but they gave me a checkup just in case. And we have like a scene change to the doctor's office.
Bum, bum. And it's a doctor.
It's a doctor.
And it says hyperventilation syndrome, so-called excess breath. Is hyperventilation syndrome actually like a thing?
I don't know. I don't know. I was wondering that too. I'm like, that sounds
I'm
made up.
Googling.
Don't you just mean anxiety? Because it's like an anxiety attack.
You had a panic attack.
Right.
Hyperventilation syndrome. Google. Yeah, okay. Hyperventilation syndrome is an anxiety-related uh dyspnea,
Diaspora? Is it diaspora?
dyspnea, dyspnea. I don't like that word.
Okay.
And uh tachypnea. I don't like it when the Y is next to the P. That's the conclusion there. Often accompanied with systemic symptoms.
Okay.
Hyperventilation syndrome most commonly occurs among young women
Oh.
and can affect either sex at any age.
Hmm.
It is sometimes precipitated by emotionally stressful events. That's why you've attached it to women. Thanks for that. Um, cool.
Yeah, because the hysteria,
The
you know,
hysteria. It's the hysteria.
it's the
It's the
hysteria.
uterus. We have to amputate your leg because of your uterus.
Yes,
It's that part.
it's
Um,
that.
so Nana looks really like, I don't know, she's not angry, but like shocked
Yeah, she's just like,
or thinking really hard.
she's,
Thinking really hard. And she's
yeah,
like,
she's like,
"What's
what?
that?" And Yasu's just sitting there calmly, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he's like, "Due to excess breathing, too much carbon dioxide was exhaled, throwing off the balance between oxygen and carbon dioxide in your lungs. The carbon dioxide in your bloodstream declines and incites a fit." That's a better explanation than whatever that medical explanation I just got was.
Fair.
Um, and so Nana looks confused and she's like, "Carbon dioxide in my bloodstream?" Question mark. And Jin is like, uh, just be quiet and listen. And so the doctor like adjusts his glasses with his eyes closed because he's got the rectangle glasses.
Hmm.
Um, the reason your fit eased after breathing with a paper bag is something known as the paper bag law. It's a law.
It's a law.
It helps you reabsorb the carbon dioxide you exhale. In other words, it
In other
says,
words.
yeah, in other words, okay. And so it says, doctor, knowing shit like this is great. And Yasu is just like embarrassed. And then she goes on to say, but what's wrong with me? Is it my lungs or what? Smoking too much? And he's like, no. And she's like, then is it my blood? And he's like, no. And then she's like, then it must have been the drinking and smoking combo put together? Question mark. But I heard doing a little of that while you're young is okay. And then Yasu's like, a little.
You're right. It's not a little.
And he says, it's not good. There's always a fear that you'll develop blood clots.
Mm.
And so now Donna's like flustered. She's like, I know, but I can't stop doing either one. What to do? And he's like, putting you on birth control could be a solution. And now Nana Yasu looks really shocked, and he's like, huh? Me?
Yeah.
And Jin is like, no, doctor. There's been a misunderstanding. And Jin is like hugging his neck. He's like, Yasu's mine. And now Nana looks like kind of like, oh geez. And the doctor's like, excuse me, my mistake. At any rate, upon examining you, I found nothing wrong. Rest assured. Um, did they have male the pill for men at this point in time? Maybe in Japan.
Maybe. I
I
don't
don't
see
know. I
in
don't know when it came out.
I don't know, but I know in mine he just pretty much he tells Yasu like just to use condoms like instead.
Okay.
And then poor
Uh
Yasu's like, "What?"
wait, but like also where did that come from?
I don't
Like did I
know.
miss part of like the conversation?
No, I no you didn't, not in yours anyway. In mine she talks about she shouldn't smoke while she's on the pill. And then all of a sudden, y- you know,
Yeah, mine doesn't
nope, no pill.
no, that's not even mentioned.
Mm-mm.
Confused. Okay, cool.
Right, same.
Right? And so then the doctor says, at any rate, upon examining you, I found nothing wrong, rest assured. And Nana's like, huh? And she's like, there's no way. It hurt so much I thought I was going to freaking die. Did you examine me properly, you quack? And the doctor's like, Miss Osaki, please calm down. And Yasu's like, Nana. The doctor's like, excess breath can be triggered by spontaneous exercises, states of strain, stress, or excitement may also trigger it. Now Nana looks shocked. But this girl's always loud like this, doctor, Jin says. What should we do? Nana's like, how do I get better? And the doctor says, well, we really can't restrict these fits. The most important thing is not to be bothered by it. And Nana's like, I'm worried about it though. I'm a vocalist, doctor. When performing, it's physically strenuous, incredibly exciting, and there are lots of things to be stressed about. Having a fit on stage is a huge problem. Please do something. And the doctor's like, but the syndrome is stress induced, and I'm not a social or I'm not a specialist. I almost read I'm not a socialist.
I'm not a social. I'm not a socialist. I can't help you.
Syndrome is stress induced, and I'm not a socialist. I.e., keep your stress.
Right. Oh my God. You know, this this section is
Writing
very
a
weird. It's weird to me because I'm just like, but she's having anxiety and she has a
yeah, but
trigger. She
he also doesn't know that she's blacking out,
mm, true.
right?
Yeah.
Right?
It's like
And he's
girl got
and
triggers.
like maybe if he knew that, he would do more testing.
Right.
Like right now, it just seems like an anxiety attack,
Mm-hmm.
right? He doesn't know that like she's having bouts of memory loss.
Yeah.
And he's not a specialist, so he can only like advise based on the surface.
Right.
And apparently, he's not a socialist either.
He's
It
not
is in
sorry.
it is Japan, so you know
Right. That's not the translation, but it is now.
it is now.
I
Oh
can't help you.
God.
I'm not a socialist.
I can't help you. I'm not a socialist.
I can't. No, you gotta go find a
Work in the
socialist.
field. I'm a feudalist.
I'm a feudalist.
So he says, if you're worried, perhaps it would be good to see someone in the psychiatric department.
Yeah.
And if you'd like, I can write a referral. And now she looks shocked. And in the
Mm-hmm.
box it says psychiatric department, thought box. So stigma just like hit her. Um,
Yep.
and Jin is like, thank you so much, doctor. We're always in your debt. And Yasu's just like sitting there. And
Mm-hmm.
we have scene change and it's Nobu. It's
It's Nobu.
Nobu.
It's Nobu. He's sitting in the waiting room and he's got like his hands clasped and he's looking down. And then he puts his head in his hands and Shin is looking at it. I'm like, oh. And then he's got a tick as he sees Nana. He's like, Nana. As he
And it's
stands
drinking
up.
cocoa in a can.
Is he? Is that what that
Mm-hmm.
is?
Mine says cocoa.
I can't read what mine says, but now I want cocoa.
Cocoa in a can.
Cocoa. That doesn't sound delicious.
I'm sorry, but every single Japanese beverage that I've ever had in a can has been delicious.
Okay, I retract my statement. I've never had a Japanese beverage in a can, so
I get them often. They're delicious. Just saying.
share. Anyway, so he's like,
Sharing, sharing.
Sherry's carrying. I want to know the experience. But anyway, he like jumps up. He's like, Nana. And Nobu like looks over really concerned. And she takes the cocoa out of Shin's hand. And she's saying, I didn't know you guys were here. You're such a mama's boy. And Shin's just looking at her like, what the hell? As he like snatches like, so you're okay. And Yasu's just laughing. And Nobu's like, Nana, you're all right. What did the doctor say? And she smiles at him and says that I'm totally nuts, heart. And then, and he's like, huh? And there's a whap as Jin like socks her in the back of the head. And she's like, ow, that hurts. And he says, you're a blockhead who's totally full of prejudices. Your head won't break. She says, don't hit me. Seriously, I'll die. And Jin
So
says,
different.
everyone,
Okay. It's
is
so
it?
funny. It's so funny. I'm just like,
It's
uh-huh. Like
right.
I feel like the Viz version is like an overshare. Like the whole thing
Oh,
is an overshare,
that's fair.
right? Because like she says, so I'm like when he asks if you're like, what did the doctor say? She's like, so I'm not quite right in the head after all, heart, right? And then
Hmm.
like further down, she's like, he says you're picking on me, you blockhead, but like when did he pick on her?
I don't know.
I'm and like right, and then he's like, that wasn't even hard. But like when did he pick on her? Anyway, go on.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like a whole thing. She's like, yeah, don't hit me. He's like, oh, seriously. He's like, everyone these days has stressful lives, more or less. It's a messed up world we live in. And,
Oh, okay. So he's probably got mental illness of some kind.
mm,
Hmm.
probably. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And yeah, he tells her, he's like, you're just more sensitive than other people. There's nothing wrong with that. And Yasu just, he smiles. But, like, Nobu is sad, and Nana's, like, clinging to Nobu. And she's thinking, but I hate myself when I'm weak like this. I'm having a hard time tolerating myself. She's like, why are these guys with me, not giving up on me? They've got guts. And we have a seat change.
Scene change. And it's like
Seat
a
change.
email,
Mm-hmm.
i.e. in contemporary times, what we call a text message from no there's like what's the icon next to Nobu? It's like a funny little sideways face.
Yeah,
And
I
then
don't know. Paper?
it says
Is it supposed to
Nobu,
be
and then
paper?
it says message from Nana.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the one next to Nana is like a piece of paper. The
Mm-hmm.
one next to Nobu is like a little face. Maybe it was like a phone call or something. Um, and it says the message from Nana says, "I'm busy, so I can't call you, but I'm doing well, darling. Let's both do our best." Uh, okay. Um, I mean, like, I feel like it's no, we use cell phones very differently. Like you and I,
Mm-hmm.
we still use like with each other, we use cell phones like we always have.
Yes.
I feel like it's not like all the time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah. Whereas, yeah, yeah. I don't know. There's different waves of how cell phones are used. So this is like, this makes sense, I guess. I'm
Mm-hmm.
over, I'm overthinking it.
It's okay.
Okay. Um, Naoki's crying.
Yeah.
So they're in a car because it says room. So they're in a car.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually Ren and Naoki in the back seat. And Naoki says, "Why do we have to rush back home just to be choked up all this way?" Choked up.
Right? I'm like, what are you saying?
I know.
Naoki.
And so like in the next seats in front, because I don't know if they're actually driving. I don't know if they're in a
Mm-mm.
van or not. It's Rira and Takumi, and Takumi says, "It can't be helped. We didn't plan to go to England. Stop complaining." Um, And so Naoki's still crying. He's like, meanie. And Ren is like, sorry. Or no, is that yeah, sorry. Ren, it's not your fault. I don't think the trip to England was on purpose, says Rira. Because like Ren is like trying to take the blame.
Mm-hmm.
And Rira is wearing Shin's necklace.
Yeah.
And Takumi grabs it. And Rira freaks out and she's like, what are you doing? Don't touch it. You're repulsive. And grabs it back. And he's like, repulsive.
Right.
And he's like, I ran out of lighter fluid. Isn't it a lighter? Let me use it. And Rira looks shocked. Um, Naoki's like, huh? That's a lighter? It's huge. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Takumi's like, you said the same thing when you saw Shin using it at the tour launch. Have you forgotten already? Uh-oh. Naoki's
Uh-oh.
like, huh? Shin from Blast? And Ren is like, really? And Ren is like, is it in a limited edition and rare item? And Takumi looks really irritated and he's like, really? That wouldn't happen to be Shin's. It's illegal to play around with kids. Oh.
Ugh. Oh,
And
yeah.
Rira's like, it's not. And is like, so why are you carrying a lighter when you don't smoke? A fan gave it to me and I really like it. Naoki's like, it's so cool to get stuff like that. Am I ever gonna get anything but stuffed animals? My room's packed with them. And Ren is like,
No.
they make good decorations? Question mark. Naoki's like, Ren, give me your lighter. And Rira's like, phone is ringing. I'm just like, wait, what a weird conversation, but also like they're so fun. Like
Yeah.
this is a great banter. Like if you have to be stuck in a I think Naoki meant choked like crammed,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
right? Like that's what I think. Um
Mm-hmm.
so Rira's phone is ringing and it says Shin and then it says welcome back. And it says I've been thrown into a cell in a place called a dormitory. I can't see anyone, so I'm trying to think of a way to see you, but I haven't come up with one yet. I want to see you soon. And we have a thought box, and it says, being busy was just an excuse. I think Ren could tell. But I was afraid that hearing Ren's voice might make it painful to breathe again. And we have a
Mm.
scene change.
Yeah. It's Jin. And he's like, all right, here's a schedule for today. Heart. In the morning, we're shooting Sen. Sensei at studio in Harajuku. And Nobu and Shin are like, Sensei? And Yasu says, promo photos. And Nana says, oh.
Yeah,
And they
mine
have like
just says
a,
promo photos, and then it says underneath, note, Jinpai's abbreviation for promo, and the word detergent sound
mm,
the same in Japanese.
oh,
Because in mine, it says, this afternoon there will be a promo photo shoot at the Harajuku studio, and both Shin and Nobu go, detergent?
oh, okay, yeah, we're shooting at the place, not the thing.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And he's like, in the afternoon, you have 3 interviews with music mags. We'll hang around and chat with them as well. Please be nice to all these people in the biz. We
In the
want to,
biz.
in the biz, oh my God, here we are again. We want to leave a good taste in their mouths. I know you rebels, quote unquote, but that's just your image. Also, if you're asked about your private life in interviews, don't answer. Then at 7, we have a meeting with the events company about the outdoor shows at Gaia HQ. At 9, you have practice at the Kagura Zaka studio. And meanwhile, like Nobu was over here spiraling
Hmm.
because I think it's about the, like, don't talk about your private lives.
No, I honestly think it's just because it's such a busy schedule.
Oh, I mean, that too. That's
Yeah, I really think that because like I imagine he's just like listing it off and it's overwhelming because they've never had a schedule like this before.
mm-hmm. A1. And he goes on to say Matsuo will decide how long that goes for the 9 o'clock practice. He's like, well, that's about it. That's not too bad. I could still squeeze in a thing or two, Heart. And Shin's got like all the lines and the dot dot dots. And Nobu's like, no, that's enough. Nana's still recovering. And Nana says, no problem at all. And Yasu's just got a sweat drop and dot dot dots. And now Jin is all smiling. He's like, then let's hit it. We can have breakfast in the car. And Hana says, yay, I'm starving. And Nobu's just in the back, like looking like a little puppy with
Right?
a
Yeah,
little
it's
sweat drop.
he's yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot
Mm,
to do in a day. Like interview, like all that stuff all before 9 a.m.
yeah, that's too much.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. And the think box it says the busier I was, the better I felt. Um, when working with, when work was fulfilling, I felt good, so I didn't think I needed to go to a psychiatrist. And then there's all of these different shots, like meeting these
So
people.
many.
There's so many. It's like, okay, they're here meeting these people. This is Masaru, your stylist. And stylist says hello, and they are bowing, saying nice to meet you. And Yasu is forcing Nana to bow
Say
again.
non at a bow.
And the stylist says, I won't change your image much. You already have a distinctive style. And there's I think it's his assistant in the back who's like, totally, Heart, let's make bondage popular. And Shin is so relieved. He's like, oh, phew. He
Oh, that's
did.
different than mine.
Oh, is
Because mine
it?
says, yeah, we're not really going to restyle you or anything since you already have your own style. And then she says, I agree, bondage is so fashionable, Heart.
It is.
Yeah,
And Shin's like, thank God.
right? He's like,
um, yeah, because he was
oof.
so worried. He's like, I like my
Uh-huh.
bondage pants.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Well, and their clothes aren't exactly cheap. They're
right?
already wearing labels
Right?
and niche labels at that.
Mm-hmm. Like, we're here for this.
They
And
have
then,
very articulated style already.
yeah, like, leave us alone. Um, and then there's a thought boxes that says there were so many people involved in Blast's record release, so many that I couldn't remember everyone's names. I wasn't good at personal PR, but it wasn't painful. And now I think they're interviewing with the music mags, and this guy with a pen and pencil is like, nothing about your private lives. At least tell me what your hobbies are. And Yasu says, mahjong.
Wrong.
Nana's like shocked. She's like, that was
Nana,
quick.
Nana says quick answer.
Yeah. And
And
Nobu's
Nobu
just
is
laughing.
laughing.
And then and then she's over at the piano and she's like, "Sir, I'm hungry. I can't hit the high notes." And he says, "Don't blame your stomach." One more time. And then they're still in the studio and she's like, "Hey, it's the Sly Fox. How are you? What sinister scheme you got up your sleeve this time?" And it's their like other producer, old producer guy, and who looks like a fox. And he's just
Yasu's like, Nana,
yeah, because
shut
she's
up.
right, like so. But the other guy's like laughing, and then we got the photos. And they're like, "Oh, good, hold that pose. Look over here." And then Jin's in the back. He's like, "I made you lunch today," and Shin's just super happy in the back. He's yay,
Dude.
food. Oh yes. And then they're in the car, and they're well in the bus in the V wagon, and they're driving
Right,
away,
like they get a Volkswagen bus.
which is pretty cool. It's
It
like
is cool, but also at the same time, I'm like, what a choice.
because it's very 70s.
I guess it's their brand, maybe?
Yeah, yeah, vintage everything.
I don't know, it's weird. Anyway.
I don't know. And then Shin's like, "Are you going to tell Masato about the show?" And Nana says, "But it's on a weekday." And Nobu says, "She has midterms soon, right? If you tell her, she'll flunk." And Yasu says, "Will she be able to graduate?" "Don't tell anyone." Like, we don't know, allegedly. And then there's a think boxes like, "I felt that if I saw Hachi now, I could talk to her and smile. I felt that I could listen to her talk about Takumi and the baby. But there was absolutely no time for that." And Nana's like, just asleep
Yeah,
because,
she's
yeah,
out.
she's so out. And then we have a scene change because they're all back at the dorm.
They're back in the dorm, and Nobu plops headfirst into his bed, and he's like, sleepy. But I gotta do laundry today. I'm not gonna have anything to wear, and his room is like just trashed.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's Shin, or no, that's Nobu.
Yeah, it's
It looks like
Nobu.
little Shin. They drew him to look like little Shin.
Yep, because he's doing chores.
He's doing chores. He looks like a little kid. He's very sleepy too. And it
Mm-hmm.
says, I gotta hurry up and get my stuff moved out of that apartment. It's a waste of money. Can't anyone help me out? Wish someone could do my laundry. And at any rate, all that shit isn't gonna fit in the dorm, so I should send it home. But Dad's probably still mad. There's still Mom. And then he sees Hachi in his head, and it says, I'm sure that when you guys debut, your parents will be happy for you. That's how parents are. And now he looks kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
And he's at the laundry room, and he's got two little coins in his hand. He's leaving the elevator maybe into the laundry room. And it says recreation on the little door and then laundry.
Mm-hmm.
And he walks in, and it's Miu, and she's sitting there reading. And she looks up, and he goes, "Oh, hello." And she just kind of smiles. And he goes put his laundry in, and she's sitting there all adorable because she's so cute. And he puts in his detergent and his little coins, and then he sits down next to her, and she's reading, and it says clink, 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 like the laundry moving. And then he goes,
Mm-hmm.
can I ask you a question? And she's like, hmm? And he says, it's about the fits. If you don't want to respond, I won't ask. And then she's like, kind of thinking, and she's like, and then he's like, you probably don't want to respond. I'm sorry. And she's like, it's fine. What is it? And he says, I heard this from our staff, but if Nana has a fit again, and if everyone gets shaken up, she'll get really anxious. So we need to stay calm. Well, there seems to be some truth in that, and the doctor suggested the same thing. So it's probably true. But aren't you sad when people around you act so calm when you're in such pain? And so now she looks shocked at him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I mean, I don't know if I can be so calm. I don't have that kind of self confidence. And she says teehee. She just kind of like giggles, and he's like giggle in his head. Um, and she says whether people around are calm or shaken up, I'll feel their sympathy, and that relieves me. And so now he's looking at her, and she says, I don't know about other people, but that's the way it is for me. And now, like, he's just like thinking, and it's quiet, except for the laundry moving clink, clink, clink. And he's thinking in his head, if it feels like I just asked a dumb question that everyone would have to answer to, it's no use. I lost sight of things. Do I start over from the beginning? I mean, if it feels like you just asked a dumb question, like, I guess, but I don't think it was dumb. I think that, like, she actually appreciated it. That's just me. And so she's
Yes.
still reading her book, and he looks over and he's like, hey, is that a play script? And she's like, yep. And he goes, are you an actress? And she's like, you could say that. And he's like, sorry, I didn't know that. And she's like, no, that's okay. I'm not well known, anyways. This is just a small role in some V cinema. What is a V cinema?
I don't know.
I'm Googling it. Um, it is the direct to video industry that appeared
Oh.
in Japan in the 80s. So yeah, it's like made for TV, right? Or
Right.
right to VHS, straight to VHS, no movie theater time.
Yes. The Disney sequels of
Yes. Yes, of the world.
yes.
Okay, so she like makes movies, just
Hmm.
not like blockbuster. Um, and he's like, "What's the title? When it comes out, I'll go see it." And she like looks, she holds it up and to him, and it says "Lone Woman in Mahjong," and he's like, so shocked. He's like, "A movie about mahjong? I love mahjong." I totally suck at it though. And now she's giggling again, and he just kind of smiles. He's like, can I ask you another question? And she's like, what? And he's like, what's your name?
Right. Didn't never
And we have
asked you.
some thought, right? He's like, what's your name? We have a scene change. We have a scene change with thought boxes.
Hmm. And it's Nana thinking, now I wonder how many people in this town know my name. Because now it's like big city outside, and
Yeah.
there's looks like it's in the middle of Tokyo, and there's all these people about like blah blah blah, and they're putting up a big screen and a stage because they
It's a
talked about
gorilla
doing this.
concert.
Yeah, yeah, it's the gorilla concert. And there's her microphone with the yellow ribbon on it. And there's these two high school girls walking by, um, and they're like, "Hey, what's that for? Is someone playing?" And they're the girl who's on her phone with the cell phone charm. She says, "I don't know. Must be some singer no one knows." And the other girl says, "I wish someone like Trapness would play. I never get tickets to their shows." And cell phone charm girl's like, "It's impossible. Anyways, UG and those guys invited us to go to karaoke. Want to go?" And there's a beep of a phone, and then we have our one of our producer guys on the phone, and the girls are in the background. They're like, "Cool. Are they playing, or are they paying?" Sorry, and our smooth younger Fox guy is like, "Mr. Kawano, we're all set." And then there's a beep of a phone, and our old man producer, who we love, is like, "Okay, time to rock. Go crazy and wow them." I hope he doesn't say that in yours,
No.
because that's weird.
He says, all right, let's go. You can be as wild as you like.
It's better.
Yeah.
Time to rock, says the
Like
old man.
he's like in mine, he's essentially saying, let's go, be yourself, go, do the thing.
Right,
Do
right.
the damn thing.
The
Not let's
damn-
rock. Let's rock,
Let's.
kids, for the
Is that
biz.
right for the biz? Is that what you could say? Time to rock
Time to rock. We
for
gotta
the
make the
hits.
records for the biz.
Yeah, the hits that sell in the biz. Let's go.
No.
And there's a slam of a door, and then Nana's walking by, everybody. There's blah blah, and then cell phone charm girl is like on her phone. She's like, "Hello, Yuji. Yeah, we're going there now." And we get a shot of Nana looking
So cool.
amazing, so cool. She's all decked out, and this girl is like, "Oh, it's Nana." The other girl's like, "Really? Oh!" And then there's a whoosh as the Blackstone's flag is being flown over the band because they're now all on stage now, just looking so
So
good.
cool.
So cool.
So cool. Nobu has a little mask on with a scorpion on it. Their flag is white.
Mhm.
It's all tore up.
Mhm.
Yasu's in his suit.
Mhm.
Yasu looks the same as usual.
Yep.
Nana is wearing like a military, like shiny, like I don't know. It's like I feel like it's the pleather, like the not the pleather, but yeah, the pleather, the really shiny pleather
Mhm.
from like it's like a fetish community thing. Um,
Yeah.
and like a collar with a chain that goes between her boobies and a corset and a plaid skirt and her boots. And
Mhm.
then Shin is wearing like a little torn up, like, like Vivian Westwood. Maybe it's just a pin, but it's like a vest
Yeah,
and
it's a
trap
vest.
pants with a skirt that are plaid.
Yeah.
They just cool.
They just cool. And now the crowd is just freaking out. They're like, "Hey, it's Blast! Blast! It's Blast! Blah! What? Really? No way! Eek!" These like these like little girls in the back that are like eek, or they look like little Masatos. So I'm like,
Yeah, they look like little Masatos, and mine it says Kya.
right? Like, wow, little Masato loli girls just love Nana. And they're like, What? Who is it? You don't know? Blah." And the two high school girls are like, "Not Nana. This sucks. Get lost," because they're Trap Nest fans.
Yeah,
And she just looks at them and she
and smirks.
smiles. Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, she's really pretty. We're gonna stop talking now."
Right, they
Like,
look embarrassed, like she heard us.
mhm,
Fuck,
right? Oh, she heard us. Also,
she
she's
heard us.
pretty
It's
and intimidating.
terrifying.
Yeah. There's a guy next to him, and he's just like wolf whistling at Nana. And then she's thinking, "I don't know who the plants are. I guess more people know us than I thought. Well, Ren's practically a household name. I don't have to introduce myself, thanks to the paparazzi." And we get a shot of her, like, on a big screen in front of
And
every.
she can see herself.
Yeah, she could see herself, which, helpful.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like, she's got her cigarette, and then she just opens up her eyes. It says October 10th, 2001, 7 p.m. Shinjuku. And then it says Blackstones. It says, "Luck and fate brought me to this place now. Thank them for this, everyone." And then there's a whap. And Nana starts to sing. And across the street, holding her little cell phone, um, is Hachi. And the cell phone says Yasu, because he just let her know. It said, "Message from Nana. I'll be waiting in front of Shinjuku Alta at 7. Nana." And Hachi's just happy. She's so happy. Just smiling and crying, but not freak out crying, just happy.
Be crying.
Mm-hmm. As she watches Nana perform because it's her favorite thing. And it says, "Hey Hachi, it's kind of far back, but it's the best, safest seat. Can your baby hear us play too?" And then we have a shot of the two opposing bands right now. Trap Nest is releasing their album on one building over here on October 31st. All one new single, "Trust." And it's just like Rira in a really pretty, like, white dress with a flower, big old flower in her hair. And on the other
Halloween.
side, yeah, yeah, it's Halloween. It's Halloween. And on the other side, we got Blackstone's debut single. And I believe that's oh God, what does that say?
I can't read it.
I can't read it. I want to say it says blood, but that doesn't seem correct. Um,
No, that's not enough letters.
it's not enough
It says
letters.
debut single. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Uh, it's debut single
Oh, okay. So,
with
yeah,
like some other things around it.
yeah, and
But
it's
it
just
does
a
say
shot of the
platinum.
band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with Nana in the
Yeah.
front with feathers, boa.
Mm-hmm. Holding on to Yasu and the boys in the background.
Mhm.
And then we have a scene change.
I have a scene change and it's TV. It's a TV station and it says, "Good morning, everyone." Today is Friday, October 26th. It's time for Music J. This morning's first video clip is from Trap Nest's new single, out in 5 days, Trust. And then it's Rerun a wedding dress. And then it's Hachi watching the TV, her plasma TV in her kitchen, um,
Mm-hmm.
with her little tomato. She's holding a little tomato to her face,
Mm-hmm. Trust is
and
also a really good song, by the way. Just side
it is.
note. It's so good.
And it says, "I want to wear the same dress as Rira." That's what she's thinking. Um, or she's saying.
Yeah,
Because now
she tells
first
us to Gumi.
she tells it to Takumi. Like she's like, I don't even know what she's wearing. She looks adorable, but I don't know what she's wearing. And he's like in his bathrobe. Um, and it's breakfast, and he's like has his like coffee, and those cups are really cute. And he says,
Mm-hmm.
"Huh?" And Hachi's like, the wedding dress she wore in the promo. It's so pretty. I really want to wear it. And he's like kind of flustered with the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got little hearts and she's like freaking out. And she's like, maybe you could get the same one made for me. And he says, didn't we already order the dress? If we make a change after all this time, the tailor shop is going to cry. And he rustles his paper. And she's like, but I want to wear it. We changed the color 3 times. And he's like, that's enough. It's not the dress that's so pretty. It's Rira. It wouldn't suit you. Knock it off. And now she looks like absolutely perplexed, like so upset. And like honestly
Yep.
though, I kind of agree though. I don't think that the dress would suit her.
I I wondered at it because I'm just like, I would have to see the full dress because we only get like snippets of it. I'm like, I need to see the full dress, and then I need to be like, Hachi, come stand over here for a second.
Like yeah, I don't think it would suit her. I just don't. But
That's
also
fair,
he didn't have to say that part,
right? Like, don't be like that to me.
right? Like it wouldn't suit you. I mean it wouldn't, but like she's a different personality. But like at the
Hmm.
same time, you could have left that part out, bro.
Right? Like, don't compare her to another. It's fine.
It's fine. Okay. It's Takumi. He's brutally honest. Like
He is.
he is brutally honest.
He
We know
is.
this. So now she's like wailing though. Like she's like losing her mind crying and yelling and she's like, "I know I can wear it too." So there's something going on between you and Rira after all. And then it says, "Wah wah wah wah." Like she's like losing her mind. And now he
Yeah.
yells at her and he's like, "No, you can't. Nothing's going on. What do you mean you know you can? Who mentioned anything about Rira?" Oh my gosh.
I mean, you did, but
I mean, you
y-
did,
you
right?
know, also drink
Yeah.
your water because she's wailing.
She's wailing. She's losing her damn mind. We have a scene change.
We
She's
do.
uh
Oh man. It's Nobu. And he's like, "Oh, Miyu, good morning, heart." And she's drinking her milk from a carton. And he's like, "Oh, calcium, give me some." And she's just laughing. She says, "Hey, Nobu, why you keep calling me?" Oh, is it Mayu? Mayu. She said, "That's not my name. It's Miyu. Where did you get that from?" He goes, "Your name's hard to pronounce, but it's cool. It's a cute nickname." She says, "Everyone says that, and no one calls me by my real name. I like my name." And he just looks at her and then he's like, "No one does? Then I'll be the only one to call you Miyu," with a heart. And she's like, "Oh," and is blushing like a little bit. And Nana's in the doorway and she's
and
got all the.
she's not okay with this. She's
She's not.
not okay.
Nope. She's all her hair is standing on end.
In like all of the lines.
Yep. And she's like, ah. And, and Mio says, "You get off today?" He says, "No, we're going to be on a music show tonight, so we have to practice all day." She goes, "That's rough. You got home at dawn, right?" And he's like, "Oh, sorry, did I wake you up?" She goes, "No, I was already up." And there's a think box that says, "We've been living in this dorm for a month now. Nobody's getting cozy with the girl next door." And now she's thinking, what was the point of switching rooms? It'd be better if he was fooling around with Yuri. But then she's like, no, she's like sad face. And she's like, why does everyone swing from one person to another? Until recently, you kept saying Hachi, Hachi, Hachi. Hachi's like that too. It's like, everyone's a fool. Now she's like freaking out again. She's got all the sweat drops and her hair's back to standing on end. It's like, but forcing unrequited love on Nobu is cruel. I have no right to do that. But it just sucks. And she's like, oh no, my breath. And there's like a ding. Because she's like, she's stressing out. And the elevator slides open and there's a click and she sees Yasu and she smiles and she's like, good morning. Where are you going? To get your hair cut? As if. He's got his sweat drop. He says, no. I have to meet with Mr. Kawano, so I'm leaving early. You look pale. Are you all right? She says, I'm cool, man. And he's kind of smelling at her like, oh, okay,
He doesn't
if you,
believe her.
yeah,
She
like
looks
you,
like a fucking wreck. And she looked like a wreck before she started panicking about
yeah.
Nobu and Hachi. And honestly, that seems to be such a big trigger. And she always gets triggered when she like it's like she seems she's upset that she can't control the people in her life.
Hmm. It's not healthy. Um, and she says, I can't keep Yasu in unrequited love limbo either. She's like, so why am I living next door? I'm being too cruel. And there's a click of the door. And for some reason, it says that she's in Yuri's room now. And I'm like,
No, there's
why?
an arrow. Mine
Oh,
says there's an
okay.
arrow and it says Yuri-chan is over here, and that's why she's in
Oh,
between. Yeah.
okay. Because I'm like, the arrow is pointing right to where she's sitting right now. I'm like, what are you doing in Yuri's room?
Yeah, no, I read it as like it's the next door over because it's a different panel.
Oh, yeah, that makes more sense. And she's like, I had no intention of getting back with Ren because I felt Yasu's extraordinary love, but I was swept away, and I'm one of those fools too. And she's thinking, I'll use the paper bag just in case. Today is an important day. I was able to survive without Ren somehow, but if Yasu wasn't there for me, I'd be completely lost. And now she's like on her back, breathing into the paper bag. Says, I have to settle things. The next time I see Ren, I won't be swept away. And there's a scene change.
Changes Naoki, and he says, it's been so long since we've been on a live broadcast of a music show. The fans must be looking forward to it. I'm sure the audience's ratings are gonna skyrocket. And Takumi is smoking and has his eyes closed and is leaning back as usual and says, that'd be great if they all got into it. I'm telling you, even if fights sell, no one has any intention to buy. What?
Hmm. Oh, like the fighting between both of their bands.
Oh, gotcha.
I hope.
Naoki's like, what are you talking about? Violence is bad, Takumi. Tisk, tisk, tisk. And then there's Rira is feeding Ren in the background. And she's like, okay, say ah. And he says,
Oh my god.
ah. So
That's
cute.
like one of my favorite panels ever. Like just
So
the
cute.
her feeding.
So cute. And and so now like Takumi is annoyed and he's like, Blast is debuting today too. Read the advance notes, you asses. And Rira and Ren look super shocked. And yeah, they look really, really shocked. It says, hey Hachi. And then it's Shin and Nana behind him walking in. Even though I've always believed that life should be about fighting against the tides that strike against you, but taking things as the way they flow isn't such a stupid idea after all, as long as everything keeps on flowing forward.
Yeah.
And Ren is like looking down, and it says, then that's already enough. And it's Shin and Nobu and Nana like walking in through some doors. And
Hmm.
then it's an image of Blast playing like back in the day at home, and Ren is still in the band.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, sad. And that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah, the chapter. Hi, thanks for being here. Goodbye forever.
Right.
I'm gonna doom scroll.
Okay. Super healthy, super great.
Gotta love it.
Love that. Love that for you. I want to go talk to my husband who's been very patiently waiting in the bedroom this whole time.
Oh gosh. There is an interview. I don't want to read it. It's with the hot actor who plays Ren. But we do have we do have comments.
Oh,
So
I'm ready.
I know. The first one 2 years ago, Kiki. When Takumi told Hachi that the dress was ugly but looked good on Rira and not Hachi, I wanted to punch him so bad. He's such a scumbag. Okay, so like he didn't say that the dress was
Ugly.
ugly.
Yeah.
Um he didn't say that it would only look good on Rira. He said that the dress looks good on Rira because it's Rira
Hmm.
and that it wouldn't suit Hachi. Not
Yeah,
the same thing.
that's not the same thing at all.
So painkiller comments, I know, right? Like, what was the need to say that? Now, he didn't need to say that it didn't suit her. And then Vampire Rose says, for real. Then Painkiller comments and is like, I think this Miu girl seems to self-harm. So Nobu's gonna have to play the prince that helps the damsel in distress again. But I'm so praying for things to go well between them. Like, please let him be happy. He's so sweet. He deserves the world. Also, I like how they look like your average 80s punk band. And then
Hmm.
there's Yasu, always in an impeccable suit.
Yes. I mean, this is probably just me, but I'm like, I do think that Miyu self harms, but I don't think that Nobu needs to save anybody.
No, I don't think nobody needs to save her.
Mhm. It's like, oh, he needs to be a prince. Nobu doesn't need to do anything. Like, that's not.
Leah says, from where did you get the self-harm thingy, dude?
Mm, I mean, read later on, I suppose.
Yeah, but like, then that's a spoiler.
I know. I know.
You know? So Giovanna says, I dread reading these chapters because I dread Hachi with Takumi. I want her with Nobu. I want her with Nana, with Blast, where she can be herself, where she actually has freedom.
She's still
I
very much herself with Takumi.
I think that it articulates a different part of herself with Takumi, but I do also wish that she was with Blast. And
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. I feel the same way too, but I'm like to say that like, oh, she's totally trapped and she's not herself with Takumi. No, she's very much herself with Takumi.
Yeah.
But that's just me. She's having a freak out cry in front of the guy that she,
I don't
like
think that Hachi could like not be herself.
she tried for a hot minute.
Did try, it did not go well.
Did not go well. No,
Did
no.
not last long. The
No.
attempt was made. It did not last long.
No.
Dizumi says it pisses me off that Rira and Ren are so close. I know they're bandmates. Of course, they should be close, but I emphasize. I think you meant empathize. Okay, I
Mm.
empathize with Nana and get jealous. Maybe I am the one who's got issues. I actually really appreciate that comment.
That's fair.
Well, because
The
like
full
they're including themselves. You know what I mean? Like they're not blaming the characters. They're not projecting. Like they're like, maybe I'm the one with the issue. Like maybe I'm
right,
the one with the
right.
problem. You know,
Full
because
spectrum.
I'm getting jealous here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because like how
Full
could you
range of
not?
emotion. Yeah.
Right? No, but I appreciate like the self-reflection and I wish that more people commented in like a first person self-reflective like stance.
Right. Like
Um,
I hate this. Am I the problem?
am I the problem?
Am
It's
I?
me. Hi,
Hi,
I'm the
I'm the
problem. It's
problem. It's
me.
me. Like,
Um,
God, dude, it's like a Taylor Swift takeover. She's been everywhere, every store I've gone into. I'm like, oh my God, oh my
well, the
God.
movie.
Oh no, there's a
Well,
movie.
and then so the movie, and then also the Swifties have like gave her a list of demands.
Oh, what are these demands?
She has not stated her stance on the Israel-Palestine conflict.
I wonder if
Um,
this will be the thing to break the Taylor empire.
well, the thing is like she hasn't. Hold on, I need to find my charger. She hasn't made an outward statement on her stance of it, but the thing is that people are boycotting people who are pro-Zionism
Hmm.
pretty radically, um, and they're getting called out. And it's really funny because like a couple weeks ago, I was making a joke where like to hold like a TikTok live
Hmm.
because Taylor Swift hadn't said anything and like the Swifties hadn't said anything yet, and I was like, ooh, how's that gonna go down? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so like I was making a joke where like you have a battle, like you do battle lives, and like one side is a picture of like of T Swift with like the Israeli flag, and the other side is a picture of T Swift with the Palestinian flag, and then people vote like what's she gonna choose? What's she gonna choose? Um,
Hmm.
you know, but there's a list of demands that the Swifties have like stated, and they will cancel her.
That would be an interesting end to the empire.
That's a good end if that's what it has to be.
No, I don't, no, don't get me wrong, dude. I totally agree, but I've been waiting. I'm like, what's the thing? What's the thing? You're very careful. You're very carefully silent on every single issue. And when you do make statements, they're very tiny and minuscule
Mhm.
and they don't mean anything.
Right. Well,
So I'm like,
so
I'm
yeah,
waiting.
one of it was that she wouldn't show her movie in Israel, and she's not.
Bare, bare minimum. Okay.
Um, well, actually, it's not a bare minimum. It is a big statement.
Okay.
That's a
But
really big statement.
but is this something that she believes, or is this something that her people have told her you probably need to do this or it's
Well,
over
that's
for
the
you?
thing. Well, that's the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, which right now it doesn't. I don't know how much it matters. But see, the thing is
Yeah.
it's very anti-Hollywood to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So her advisors would probably advise against her doing that.
Mm. Well, Hollywood is awful, so.
Yeah. I mean, but you can look up the differences between because like pro-Palestinian actors and performers, they wrote a letter to Biden,
I saw that letter.
and then pro-Zionist actors and performers uh wrote a letter to Biden, and they had a fuck ton more like signatures.
Yeah, I
Um,
did notice that like the artist one was really small. Like,
but they did it first. They weren't trying to like flex. They
right.
did it. See, like this is the thing is the pro-Zionist like group, I think that they did it like as a show of like whatever, whereas like the first letter wasn't. It
Mm-hmm.
was genuine. One was genuine, one was disingenuine, right?
Right.
Um, and like even like authors are getting called out now. Like everybody's getting called out. Like this is the reality. This is what this
Mm-hmm.
looks like.
Yeah.
This is like one of those topics that like you can't be complacent. If you're
Mm-hmm.
complacent, you are on the side of the oppressor. This is one of those things you have to make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's it, right?
Yeah.
And this is one of those things where there is a wrong side of history.
Right.
Like a group of people are being exterminated,
Mm-hmm.
ethnically cleansed. So, and like the thing is like the people who are making these demands, who are paying attention, are the people who consume the most right now, as far as age brackets.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't know. So anyway, she's not showing
Mhm.
her movie in Israel at any of the theaters, but there's still a few other demands. It has to do with like sports games, like not performing at sports games because like the I don't know which sports ball it is, but they support Israel. Like,
Mhm.
the list of demands is like cutting the funding, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, if you support doing this and get paid by this, you're supporting genocide.
Yeah.
The list of demands is, are you supporting genocide or not?
Mhm. It's like, are you doing? Yeah. It's gonna be very interesting.
To speak on like at this point any hardships that the Israeli people might be going through is just it doesn't work.
Mm. Yep.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It it doesn't. Too much has been surfaced and come out, and um, we also know that they've been using AI generated propaganda.
Mhm.
There were never dead babies. That at least were Israeli babies.
Yeah.
So like it's just I don't know. I mean, sometimes I think that it's smart to just be quiet until you can actually see what's going on.
Right.
Um, and uh, if you're not going to take a stance, just be like, I don't want to, and take the repercussions,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Um.
want to choose. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Dear President Biden, we come together as artists and advocates, but most importantly, as human beings witnessing a devastating loss of lives and unfolding horrors in Israel and Palestine. We ask that as President of the United States, you will call for an immediate de escalation and ceasefire in Gaza and Israel before another life is lost. More than 5,000 people have been killed in this last week. It's over 10 now. If not, but
Mhm.
that's only who they know, who they've been able to count, who they have bodies of.
Mhm.
Um, and I think it's like 43% of Gaza is children.
Mhm.
A number any person of conscious knows is catastrophic. We believe all life is sacred, no matter faith or ethnicity, and we condemn the killing of Palestinian and Israeli civilians. We urge your administration and all world leaders to honor all of the lives in the Holy Land and call for and facilitate a ceasefire without delay, and end to the bombing of Gaza and a safe release of hostages. Half of Gaza's 2 million residents are children. More than two-thirds are refugees and their descendants being forced to flee their homes. Humanitarian aid must be allowed to reach them. We believe that the United States can play a vital diplomatic role in ending the suffering, and we are adding our voices to those from the US Congress, UNICEF, Doctors Without Borders, the International Committee of the Red Cross, and so many others. Saving lives is a moral imperative. To echo UNICEF, compassion and international law must prevail. As this writing as of this writing, more than 6,000 bombs have been dropped in Gaza in the last 12 days, resulting in one child being killed every 15 minutes. Children and families in Gaza have particularly run out of food, water, electricity, medicine, safe access to hospitals. Following days of airstrikes and cuts all supply routes, Gaza's sole power plant ran out of fuel Wednesday afternoon, shutting down electricity, water and wastewater treatment. Most residents can no longer get drinking water from service providers and household water through pipelines. The humanitarian situation has reached lethal lows, and yet all reports point to further attacks. Compassion and international law must prevail, UNICEF spokesperson James Elder.